Welcome to our studio in Montreal.
Hi, we would like to thank the Architectural League of New York and especially Anne Reiselbach for the organization of this online presentation. We also want to thank the jury for selecting us and from our team, Julien Landry and Sami Benalia.
So, this is a travel diary of our journey in the far north that has taken place over the last 20 years. Nunavik is a semi-autonomous territory that occupies a third of the total area of the province of Quebec. Located north of the 55th parallel, Nunavik has a population of less than 12,000 inhabitants, mainly Inuit, living in the 14 coastal villages along the Hudson Bay and the Ungava Bay. Most of the villages are located beyond the tree line, a subarctic region where the tundra extends as far as the eye can see. The Inuit, a nomadic people who have occupied this territory for millennia, are sedentary since the middle of the 20th century. Beyond the social and cultural issues raised by adapting to this new way of life, this northern population must now live with climate change, of which the most concrete effect is the melting of the permafrost. By tradition, Inuit people always seem to be on the move. They travel on Air Inuit to go from one village to another, they use skidoos or canoes to go on the land, or they get on their four-wheelers to go shopping at the village co-op store. Nunavik is only accessible by boat or plane. There is no road, no railway reaching the villages. The transportation issue is also related to supply. In June, when the ice is gone on the Hudson Bay, the sea lifts leave from Montreal to supply the villages with non-perishable food, goods, and the fuel that the community needs for an entire year. The sea lifts also deliver all materials which will be used for the new constructions. 1 month after leaving, when the materials arrive on site in July, the contractors, mainly coming from southern Quebec, fly to the north to start construction. This is the beginning of a race against the clock to get the building construction mostly completed before winter, which begins in October. In the north, the expression "not missing the boat" takes on its full meaning. This rigid time frame where prefabrication takes a large place drives the yearly planning of all our projects in the north. For us, as architects, the idea of movement is highly inspiring, and this is reflected in the shape of our buildings, who, like our clients, take the direction and move forward. We strive to be part of this tradition, providing facilities that become social and cultural landmarks in the villages. We have built hotels, municipal buildings, community facilities, or cultural centers, which all play an essential role in their respective communities. Solidarity and cooperation are at the very heart of the Inuit culture. This explains why the cooperative movement has taken so much importance in the social and economic development of Nunavik. Each village has its own local co-op store which sells food and other goods. The co-op also manages a network of small hotels across the territory. The co-op hotel is the place to stay when you travel in the north. Since there are usually no restaurants in the villages, travelers gather at the hotel's community kitchen to prepare and sometimes even share their meals with other travelers. This is a nice place to be. Our first project in Nunavik was a co-op hotel for the village of Inujjuaq we built in 2000. It was the beginning of a long and fruitful collaboration between our office and the Federation of Nunavik Cooperatives. Over the years, we built co-op hotels and co-op stores in several other communities. That's why when we travel to Nunavik, we like to sleep in our hotels. Another part of our work in the north, perhaps less visible, has been to accompany the communities through all stages of a given project. In the case of one of our latest projects, the Kuujjuarapik Cultural Center, our contribution started at the very early stage with helping the community to file grant applications to the various levels of government concerned. Once the building was up, we took an active part in training technicians to be able to handle the state-of-the-art stage equipment. During the 3-year period that led to the project, we helped and define and redefine the program. The initial project, we intended to host the popular Inuit games, slowly evolved over discussions to become a multifunctional venue where concerts, plays, and shows of all kinds could be held. The center was also easily adaptable for social gathering, major celebrations, and cultural events. Our commitment to this project went far beyond architecture. For us, the official ceremonies on the opening day represented the accumulation of a great journey. Working in the North has always been a true privilege. It has allowed us to better know the Inuit people and their culture.
During the first part of this presentation, Marc showed you a few examples of our work in Nunavik. In this segment, I will first look at a more modest but crucial type of building, the community freezer. Apart from its importance in the food supply chain, the community freezer acts as a bridge between tradition and modern life, between the land or territory and the village itself. By now, the Inuit have adopted a way of life which is mostly sedentary. Despite this, traditional ways are still very much a part of their daily lives, and people still go berry picking, hunting, and fishing on the land. Thanks to currently existing community freezers, hunters and fishermen returning from a trip have a place to store their frozen catch. Village authorities buy a portion of this catch and make sure it is kept safely until it is shared with other community members. This initiative allows people of each village to have access to country food. It also contributes to the preservation of traditional activities and values such as sharing. At the request of the local government, the KRG, we had the opportunity to explore the concept of a new type of community freezer. Obviously, it would comply with health and safety practices, but it would also be flexible enough to accommodate traditional ways of doing things. The new freezer would consist in a series of areas where fresh meat or fish could be cleaned, prepared, and stored. Interior temperatures would vary greatly, from warm to extremely cold, according to need. The concept we proposed was to put a series of built-in rooms, each communicating with the next, under an overall semicircular envelope. This single structure would also allow us to implement a system of heat recovery, using the heat generated by the gas-fueled compressors to raise temperatures in the warmer areas. Another prototype we have been working on is a multifunctional warehouse system to be built in each of Nunavik's 14 communities. These were meant to answer the needs of the Kativik Municipal Housing Bureau, responsible for 3,400 housing units rented by low and middle-income families. In Nunavik, more than 90% of the population lives in social housing. So the idea was to better serve the tenants in need of maintenance or repairs at any time of the year. The program for the new warehouses was to provide adequate storage space for construction materials and for spare parts. It also includes a wood workshop, offices, and lodgings for maintenance crews. We used a simple industrial structure to accommodate all these functions under one roof. Storage areas were divided into cold, temperate, or hot sectors depending on the materials or equipment found inside. Inserted within the larger volume, we designed an autonomous wood frame structure, like a building within the building, where the offices and the lodgings are. The roof's curved structure also allowed us to plan for 2 cold storage areas to be located on either side of the building and where 2 rows of containers could be parked. These containers, used for shipping materials to Nunavik, would then serve as on-site storage. Local warehouses could compare to satellites or space stations spread across the territory. For now, 2 of which have already been built. The construction of the 3rd one will be done this year in Salouit, and we would like to end this conference on this specific case we are working on. The village of Salwit is where the first signs of a melting permafrost appeared during the 90s. Since then, this village has become a lab where experimental projects have emerged. In permafrost regions, buildings are normally sitting on the ground on leveling jacks or piles. The idea behind this is to make sure that the heat of the building won't increase the temperature of the soil and affect the permafrost. The warehouse project in Salwit is part of the experimental approach. Last year was built a thermosiphon system under the gravel pad on which the building will be sitting. The purpose of this is to keep the ground frozen throughout the year by using a system of cooling coils to prevent movement of unstable soil under the constructions. Another example is the road leading to the airport. They recently rebuilt the road with a thermosiphon system. The village of Salwit is now facing major challenges linked to climate change, which the community is trying to adapt. Their name, appearing in large letters on a hillside, like the Hollywood sign, claim that they are alive and well and there to stay. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.